Hi, April here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited that you are here with me today, and I have two questions for you to start out this video. Warning, they are the topic. Anyway, so the first question that I have for you today that I will be answering is going to be, is planning an essential part of writing? And the second question is it essential to have a writing plan? I'm going to share with you 5 reasons that writers need a plan and a writing plan. But before we do that, leave me a comment below if you are a planner. There are those of us who naturally thrive on planning. Or if you are more of a wing it and go kind of person, because they are true parts of our personality. I have a little bit of both. And so that's really good because I'm going to be able to share with you, as someone who does like to just wing it sometimes, how a plan works for me. Don't forget, while you are watching this video, if you enjoy the content, to subscribe so that you don't miss out on my future videos. All of February is time management for writers, so all the videos, most of the videos, I may pop some extra ones in there, but they are the theme of time management, which is something we all need help with. So, a little bit about me so that you know why you should listen. I have always wanted to be a writer. It has always been my dream. I'm talking from the time I don't even remember a time in my childhood where I specifically wanted to become a writer, because it's just always been there. It's always been a part of me. Life is long. Life can be confusing. It can be full of things that you don't plan for. So while I have written my entire life off and on, it wasn't until last year that I was in a place where I was really comfortable enough to say, I am committed to writing and publishing. This is the time. I'm going to do it now. And I learned a lot over this last year. A lot. I made a lot of mistakes. And so I learned from them, and that's one of my focus in these videos, is always to teach you things that I have learned from experience. I love to research things as long as they're interesting to me, which means it's whatever's important to me. And time management is something that I have done a lot of research into, and I have put a lot of work and effort into it this last year. And it is one of the main reasons that I will be publishing my writing prompt book this month. If I had not put into practice some of the things that I'm going to talk to you about today, it would not be happening. Okay, here we go. Let's get started. 5 reasons why writers need a writing plan. So overarchingly, let me just say, if you have a hard time planning because it feels like it boxes you in, I really believe you'll find it does the opposite. Having a plan, a good plan for your life and for your writing, is going to free up so much time for you. It is going to allow you to focus on where your passions are, what's important to you. It's going to help you make progress. That is why planning is good, even if you don't like the idea of being boxed in by a plan, because plans are plans, guys. They're flexible. You want a flexible plan. We're all a little different. Some people thrive on flexibility. Some people thrive on having a steady constant. It's important to know yourself as a writer and as a person so that you can make the plan work for you, for your personality. And we will talk more about that in some later videos. Every step of writing requires time and effort. Time and effort. Time happens, but how you use it is up to you. Effort, that's also in your hands. So can you wing a book? You can. People have done it. Is it the best idea for the majority of us? Probably not. Is it the most efficient way to write? No, it's not. You may get to the end point, but you probably won't get there as quickly as if you had a plan. So let's get into those reasons, okay? So number 1, like I just said, writing requires time, and time requires management. time management requires a plan of some sort. If you don't have a plan for when you're going to write, and you're just going to write whenever it strikes you and whenever it's convenient, you're just not going to get it done as quickly as someone who sets aside blocks of time, who says that this is so important to me that yes, I'm going to block off this specific time for writing. This is specifically what I'm going to write, and this is my goal. This is what I'm working toward. Having that planned out, allowing yourself to write when creativity strikes, if it happens, but knowing that you're not always going to feel creative. You're not always going to wake up at the crack of dawn. I never wake up at the crack of dawn and want to do anything in the crack of dawn because I am not a morning person. You're not always going to want to write. But if you want to finish and you want to be a writer, you want to be published, if you have a blog that you want to be consistent with, whatever your writing bent or passion is at this time, if you want to do it consistently, a plan is essential. You need to manage it. So number 2, a plan is going to allow you to write smarter, not harder. Just like work smarter, not harder. Okay, because when you have a plan and you know what you're supposed to be writing each day, you know what your end goal is, you have little deadlines and stuff set in, you're going to work to achieve those goals. That's going to keep you from getting off track. So when you start writing a scene and the scene flows and you're just writing along, that can be a good thing, and you can come up with some great content for that way. But sometimes if you don't know exactly what you're writing, if you don't know the scenes to an extent of kind of what's going to happen in them, you might end up spending a lot of time writing a great chapter or a great scene, but when you go back and look at your book, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit your plot. It can cause you to get stuck. So if you don't know these things, if you don't have a plan to some extent, and some of it you will plan as you go, because the plan is the overall idea, and there are going to be great ideas that come up that are going to improve your writing. They're going to improve your story, improve it. You also have to know that there are times that following your creativity may send you writing pages and pages of stuff that's not going to go in your book. And that can be really painful and really disappointing. Now, the good news is that no writing is ever wasted. So if you do find yourself writing something and it doesn't fit with your current writing, don't delete it. Don't throw it away. Save it in another file, because you can reuse that as bonus content for your book. You could use it for a blog post. So don't ever think that any writing is wasted writing, because it's always building and always good. But knowing what you're going to write and having a plan that you have thought about your book in advance, you have a good outline, you have you know what your character arcs are going to be. Those things are going to allow you to write smarter and not harder. It's going to mean that you're going to be getting to include more of the things that you write in your book, because it actually fits and serves a purpose. So number 3, effective planning helps you do less. That's right. When you don't have a plan, you're going to have a tendency to be all over the place. If you're me, your mind is switching gears. You're having 1,000 ideas. They're just bombarding you. Bam, bam, bam. And you can get sidetracked on those. You can get sidetracked from them and go off writing a completely different book. I've done that. I definitely did that twice this year, which are great ideas and great things to have. But if you want to finish something, you're going to have to stick to it. Giving yourself a plan says, this is my priority. This is what I'm working on. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to work on it from start to finish. If I have other good ideas that come up, I am going to have a place where I put those ideas, and I accept the fact that they're great ideas, but they may not be what I need to be working on right now. But if they're still great ideas, they'll be there for me when I finish this task, this plan, this book, this blog series, whatever it is that you are working on. So effectively, you can know when you have a plan, you know what you need to say no to. So if you have a deadline this week and you need to get a certain number of words written, you're going to plan your week so that you have time to do that. And that means you may need to say no to going out with friends this week. You may need to say no to working on a fun project. You may need to say no to certain tasks around the house to make that happen. So strategically, planning allows you to do less so that you can get done what needs to be done. And number 4, planning builds good writing habits, because it is a good part of a writer to have some sort of outline, some sort of plan. I'm not keying this toward saying pantser is a bad thing. It's not, but I do think that a lot of pantsers, they may not have their plan written out exactly the way a planner might have it, but they do still have some kind of plan, even if it's a plan that exists inside of them. And that's successful pantsers. Unsuccessful pantsers probably don't have a plan at all. But this really isn't about that. It's just about the fact that planning means that you are using your time wisely. That means you're setting aside time to write, and that's going to make you a better writer. It's going to improve your skills. It's going to improve your techniques. You're going to find out when you work best. You're going to create habits and routines that support your writing in a positive way. You're going to get your body into the habit of writing. If you have like a little writing routine that you do before you write, if you turn on a certain type of music, or you have a certain playlist, or you have a certain drink before you write, those things your body begins to recognize as part of a writing routine, and it just becomes more natural to do that. You don't have to really force yourself to write. Your body just gets into the motion of it, and because you have a plan, you know what you're going to be writing, so you're not going to be spending a lot of wasted time trying to figure out where to start, what scene to write, and it just builds those good writing habits. Number 5, a plan is your map. It is your map to your end goal. And if you've ever set out on a trip without a map or a clue of where you're going, you know that you may get to your destination, but you're not going to get there without getting lost, without getting sidetracked, without getting derailed, without spending time and money before you ever get to your destination. So a writing map and a plan for your writing is going to allow you to get to your destination more efficiently, more cost worthy. You know, part of planning and of being a writer is knowing that whether you self-publish or traditionally publish, you're going to have different level of expenses. So if you're self-publishing, you really need to know how much all of those steps are going to cost. How much is your ISBN going to cost? How much is an editor going to cost? So you need to have a budget. It's going to take you longer to write and finish your novel if you're self-publishing and you haven't figured in a budget. I winged my budget the first year of writing, and I tried to be budget conscious. Some things you only learn as you go, and so that's sometimes I do learn as I go. So I'm sharing with you my tips and tricks so you don't have to learn as you go, and you can save yourself some money. I didn't really have a set budget. I didn't have a budget at all. I knew there would be expenses. Some of them I planned for, some of them I didn't. Some things I had to cut because I didn't have the money for it. And knowing all of those things in advance is going to be key. So, financial planning is definitely a part of writing. And if you are traditionally publishing, you need to be prepared for the amount of time that traditional publishing takes. A lot of writers have an unrealistic idea of traditional publishing timelines. You really need to know that. You need to work that into your plan, because it can be really disappointing to get to a certain point and discover that you can't move forward because you haven't set aside the money. You didn't account for the cost, or you are having to wait to hear back from agents, and it can be discouraging. And so having that plan and that map is really, really going to be able to allow you to know in advance what's going to happen. You're not going to know every step of the way. That's, you learn as you go, and you adjust and you tweak and you make changes. And learn from those who have gone before you. Don't just set out and wing it. There's resources. Ask. People are always willing to give you their advice and their opinion. It doesn't always mean it's good, so you got to kind of filter that out a little bit. Just don't go into your writing if you want to have a career as a writer. Don't go into it without some sort of plan. And if you have up to this point, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up. You know, I really did that at the beginning of this year, and I could have done so much more if I had managed my time, if I'd had a better writing plan, but I learned as I go. I learned from other writers. I learned from books. I learned from making mistakes, and that's all part of it. I don't have all the answers now, but I know a lot more than I did last year. And I love sharing that with you. So that is my reasons why writers need a plan. I will have some blog posts that will help you with that. So do make sure that you are subscribed to my newsletter so that you can stay up to date. Follow me on social media. I am always happy to have new writers and aspiring writers and readers to connect with because I love those. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can stay up to date. I still have openings for beta readers for my writing prompt book. So if you are interested in being a beta reader or you know someone who does, if you'd like to leave me a review and have access to a free copy of my book before everyone else, check the information in the link below and join my book review team. As always, have a blessed and beautiful day, and don't forget that you matter, words matter, and your words matter. I'll see you next time. Bye.